Welcome back once again to Reality NSFW and our coverage of Big Brother Canada Season 9. I'm Zack Hacker, joined once again by the icon, Brent Wolgamott. Brent, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I am not doing fantastic at home with my technology. My computers apparently hate me, which is why I was a little tardy tonight. It was all my fault, not Zach's fault. But I'm hoping that we've cleared everything up. My AirPods are working, my microphone is working, my camera is working, and my pretty face is working. So there you go.
Hey, we're firing on all cylinders over here. Right off the top, just quick programming note. We're blown away by how much attention we were getting last week. It was so much fun. So thank you to everyone who's commenting, who's liking, who's talking about how great the show was last week. That's fantastic. Going forward, that's going to be the schedule. Wednesday night is going to be me and Brent, potentially joined by guests in the future. And then Thursday after the eviction, I'll be live with Peter Brown. And we're going to keep going from there. I heard all the cries for, we want Brent 5 nights a week. We want Brent 7 nights a week. We've got schedules, so we're going to do our best to give you the best BBK coverage we can, and we are very excited to talk about a little bit about Monday night's HOH episode and, of course, tonight's POV. Brent, what has your week been like? What have you been thinking about Big Brother Canada as this week 2 has started playing out?
Well, I'm just going to say right off the top that I have heard tell of a player in the house that has made comparisons to Derek. I have heard people in other podcasts talk about a certain player in the house is of the Derek variety. And I'm just here to tell you that those proclamations are a bit premature based on the events that I saw earlier today. Now, I'm used to another podcast, so I don't know how you do it here, Zach. Do you want to just talk about the episodes right now, and then we'll talk about the live feeds, or do you just want to talk about everything right now? Because I'm used to the former, but I can do the latter.
I like the former, but
okay.
Yeah, let's go with that because I imagine some people in the chat, some people watching this are not up on feeds. So let's save that for the very end.
All right. So we're going to go half with the episodes, and then I'm going to tell you all about what the hell is happening with the feeds. So we're going to keep it real with the episode. And as far as the episodes go, I mean, my God, let's just say right off the top, I was glad that they finally put the goddamn Sunsetters into the episode and apparently showed us the initial formation of the Sunsetters, but I'm not entirely sure exactly how it happened. They just showed them out there talking, giving themselves a name, and voila! They gave themselves an alliance that's apparently running the house. I will say, however, that they are doing a good job, at least initially, from what I'm seeing on the feeds, and this is not spoiling anything past the episode that you saw and the naming of Ro as the POV replacement, that they've been doing a good job of navigating the house in a way where people are not aware of their presence. They seem to have no idea that there are other alliances that are happening, even though we saw Tara in this episode say something about, well, it's obvious that people from this team are working with this team. She really has no idea who on the teams might be working together. And honestly, I never see her on the feeds giving any real information anyway to anybody or taking any information. So I'm not even going to give her credit for that. It does seem like they've done a great job of camouflaging themselves in a way that shows that, hey, there's no big alliance that's running the house. You know, all you fans that are in the house, like it's like we're here at summer camp, which certainly explains to people like Braden, who I know got some coaching from Kirsten McInnes over at Rap and is a big fan of Big Brother Canada and Big Brother as a whole. And yet he looks like he's there playing summer camp. He's not playing the game. He's hardly on the feeds. He's certainly hardly in the episodes whatsoever. And honestly, it's like, do you know that there's a game being played? Apparently not. He just thinks that, well, people like me and that's good enough to get me forward. He doesn't realize that the game is being played around him, which is a sin that many of the house guests currently are guilty of. So I think that some people need to be taken to task, but overall, I think that the Sunsetters have been doing a pretty good job of navigating things.
Yeah, they're doing really good. I can imagine the people over in the Big Brother Canada operations room are scrambling for some footage right now because that's all we got of the Sunsetter formation. I would have loved to see who pulled who together to form that alliance. We didn't really quite get to see that. There's also this, Josh Day 3, whatever the hell happened there. He's rapping about it on the episode, but we have yet to see exactly what went down. I'm praying they dig up some of this footage. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that more because I know, without spoiling things, that the day 3 stuff came up in the events of yesterday and today as well. So obviously that is going to become important here. By the way, let me get rid of this person because I know, Sam Loveridge, that you are not the real Sam Loveridge because he is not listening to me right now because I know who he is. Girl, bye from the chat. Even though he was being complimentary of me, I know he's not.
2 weeks in a row, there's a fake Sam. Come on.
I know, right? He's absolutely crazy. Anyway, the point being that I think that some people need to wake up and smell the coffee and then realize that the game is being played around them. And if they don't do it soon, they're probably going to be on their way out because it does seem like the Sunsetters are having their way with whatever they want to do in the house. And I also do empathize with the editors of Big Brother Canada, not so much in the fact that they haven't showed us the Sunsetters until episode 4, which is a travesty in and of itself, but the fact that some of the events of the past few days sort of went out of order. Like Rohan wasn't even named as a replacement nominee yet, and already there were, conversations happening on the feeds about a potential flip, and he wasn't even on the block yet, for heaven's sake. So, like, I understand where Big Brother Canada is coming from and trying to, distill this in a manner that would be malleable, or not malleable, but salient to a wide audience. If they could possibly do that, that would be great. But other than that, I don't know what they got. So this is what we get, which is a fun rap battle and. Victoria playing with herself, not in that way, in the room, right? And we got the formation of the Sunsetters, a veto competition, and a nomination ceremony. So there you go. That's all you get.
Yeah, I'm here for the fun moments. I watch reality TV for the characters. The strategy is enjoyable. I love a good strategy breakdown, but I really enjoy the prisoners' dilemmas, the Beth dressing up as an apple and screaming and watching Twitter explode because everyone hates her voice. There's some really good stuff from tonight. What about Monday's HOH? So I mentioned the prisoner's dilemma. What did you think about that or any of the things going on during the HOH episode?
Very frustrating. I will tell you that I've been frustrated with Austin in particular. I understand that her options are limited, but on the other hand, it does seem like she's saying things on the feeds. And again, this isn't spoiling because you saw it in the episode tonight where she and Braden were kicking around the idea of backdooring LaToya. She was talking about backdooring Toya, as the house calls her, since basically the beginning of her HOH reign when she made that deal. Wouldn't it be great to backdoor Toya? I really wish I could do that. I hope whoever wins HOH next week could backdoor Toya. Hello, you're HOH now. You can do whatever you want. In fact, you can do really whatever you want because the veto got used, which means you have to name another nominee, and she just didn't swing when she had the chance, and it's really frustrating watching her and Braden. I know that they are close, but as my friend Aman Adwin said on Twitter, it is difficult to watch them because they are essentially running cover for the majority alliance without even realizing it, to their own demise. Like Austin could be on the block next week alongside Braden, and they literally have nothing to show for this HOH. I mean, she was talking in the episode yesterday about the fact that, hey, I won HOH and I want people to forget about it. They might forget about it because you might not be there. That might be the issue with Austin. So I'm frustrated with her choices, and the fact that she's not going to take big swings in this game. How do you feel about her? By the way, I wanted to say right up front, Zach, I love having a discussion with you. I don't want this to be like, Brent, what did you think about the episode? Brent, this happened. What are your takes on that? Because I got some friends who wrote me, who I respect very much, who were like, we love that, but we liked better the discussions that you used to have with your former coworkers at RHAP, when I would have discussions with Taryn and get into disagreements with him. So feel free to chime in with whatever you're feeling and however you're feeling about these house guests.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to dive into Austin's HOH. I was excited for her to be the HOH because she was originally aligned with Braden, and that's a different side.
She's an outsider.
Yeah, no, I love that. And the first HOH is usually, this is the Cody Calafiore. This is the modern Big Brother coalition building thing. This is usually where you put in place what's going to ride you to the end. I was expecting her to do that, but she's playing far too passive, and I wonder how much of that game is so passive because it's sort of not really the first HOH, and it's sort of this teams thing is complicating things. And so I think she's trying to sit back when she needs to be pulling people in here. And I think it's largely to blame on the team's twist and that weird first week elimination that they did.
Yeah, I think that's fair. On the other hand, you have to be prepared for whatever Big Brother throws at you, and Big Brother Canada in particular is very much known for their twists. I have to think that even if I was confronted with a team's twist that was really odd in the first week, and then I went HOH, like you only get to play Big Brother once.
Mm-hmm.
Go out there and take a freaking swing. Like, go out there and do what the fuck you want. Don't wait for other people to do it for you. It is extremely frustrating. And honestly, like, I just want to pull my hair out when I listen to her say things like, I wish somebody could backdoor Toya when you're holding the HOH key. It is frustrating. It is weak. And honestly, I know that the chat is over her because they think that she's playing summer camp. The worst part, as Heather notes in the chat, Austin doesn't even realize she's screwed. That's the worst part. It's not even that she's playing passive. It's not even that she's not making the right moves. It's that she doesn't know she's in trouble. That's the issue at play. Neither does Braden for that part, but he's not HOH, so I'll let him slide for a moment, just for a moment. But Austin's the one wearing the key, and that's why she's getting the juice from me.
Yeah, no, I'll hate on her HOH too. I just think that she probably made a game plan. She talked about being a student in her pregame stuff and how she loves studying and how her mental capacity is going to blow everyone out of the water. I think she outlined exactly how you want to play Big Brother, and I think she wrote down win first HOH, let everyone come to you, which is normally the good strategy. Yes, that works usually, but this twist turned it on its head and she has not adapted well. I think that's the biggest issue for her.
That's fair, but she also has to recognize that a week was played. I mean, like, they evicted somebody. Like, people have been talking. This isn't the first HOH. I mean, it's not really. I mean, like, basically the team was HOH and they nominated the entire other team, basically. That's what happened during the first week. So I just wish that she would have put a more pedal to the metal approach to it and not fell back into this, I'm just going to do whatever the house wants me to do and then try to slide back into the shadows so that nobody notices me. Like, they notice you. You won HOH. Like, how do you feel? You're literally the first HOH of the season. How do you feel like you can hide at this point? I don't understand that. She should be making a power move at this point to try to set herself up for the rest of the game. You don't know when you're going to win HOH again. And honestly, she's acting like she's got an alliance around her when she doesn't. She's got Braden around her, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, one of your good friends, Julie, just went home last week. You'd think that was a big wake-up call, but no, instead, still kind of going with the majority, even though the majority turned on who she was supporting last week. Since the teams are still playing such a big role in this, we've got the Sunsetters setting up. We've got Kiefer, Tina, Toya, Jed, Ty, Beth crossing the teams. But then the nominees can only come from one team or the other. What are your thoughts on this? Last week, we were super critical because this is like Survivor in a house. This week, it feels a lot more like traditional Big Brother. We've got an HOH. We've got a POV. But these teams are still really futzing with the way the game is played, and I don't know how much I enjoy it. What are your thoughts on the team setup and how it's impacting the game?
I'm fine with it. I really am. I'm fine with it for now. I still feel like that. I mean, it's going to force house guests to make moves that they otherwise wouldn't want to make. Like, I don't think ordinarily Austin would have put up Roe if she really had her druthers. I think there are people in the house she might wanted to put up, but she's going to put him up anyway. And honestly, he has a chance of being evicted tomorrow. But it's because of the team twist that's forcing her to do something like this. I think, like, if what I predict happens, in that I think things are going to continue on their present course, meaning that the team Destiny is going to continue to win HOH and Team Defender is going to continue to lose people. Because let's be honest, is if they do competitions like this where, people are dropping out, like, I mean, Team Defender is going to be starting with 4 or 5 people, and Team Destiny has all of their people currently. So it just stands to reason that Team Destiny is going to have an advantage unless Big Brother does something to level the playing field a little bit, which they could do. But on the other hand, the fact that there seems to be a cross-pollination of for the alliance from both teams here, I don't think the Big Brother Canada really cares at this point. I think that these teams are going to be set in stone for at least the first 4 weeks, and after that, maybe they move them around, maybe they mix them up, or maybe they dissolve them altogether. I don't know. But I do know that I think they're here for a while. And even though the teams in the house think that, hey, these teams aren't going to be here forever, in fact, they're thinking that as soon as next week they could dissolve. I really don't think that's the case, because we haven't really even met these people yet. Again, we just got introduced to the Sunsetters on a Wednesday night episode, like right before the eviction. and then you're going to dissolve the teams. I don't think so. It's not happening. So let's get used to it.
Yeah, I just want to hate on the teams for a minute, though. I mean, you outlined
That's fine.
And why I hate this team setup, which is this is just going to be a pagonging of the defender team before I can even remember who the hell's on the defender team. They're all going to be gone. Number two, the team setup is completely pointless in my mind because it's just keeping a bunch of people safe. It might be motivating some people to make moves, but it's also preventing them from making moves they might want to make, or, she might not want to go after Toya, but she might be more comfortable going after Ty, but he's safe or something along those lines. So you never know. I don't see the point of giving half the house safety for nothing every week. Like, that is certainly not making compelling gameplay, especially when the teams are not functioning as teams. They're not strategizing together in rooms. No one is saying team loyalty. They're just completely doing whatever the hell they want, but half of the house is just randomly safe. I don't like it. If the strategy was that the teams had to actually stay together as teams, I think I might like this a little bit more, but I can't even remember what team, and the players are not playing like they're on a team other than when they're in comps.
Well, I mean, Big Brother Canada doesn't do a good job of visually representing them. I wish they would wear something. I mean, I know who's on Team Defender because I watch the feeds, and I know who's eligible for nomination because they keep losing all the time. So obviously I can remember it. But your average viewer on Big Brother Canada, I can't remember. I was watching Big Brother Canada tonight, and all of a sudden they said one of the provinces, and I'm like, I'm not from there. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm watching Canadian TV illegally at this point. So yeah, I know what's happening.
Nova Scotia.
So that's what it was. A Nova Scotian. If you're a Nova Scotian or something, I'm like, what? Who is that? I've never heard that before. But overall, like, I feel like I'm with you. I wish they would do away with the team twist, but I do think that once that, like, producers are very, like, I still flash back to oh god, Big Brother 17 when they just like up and decided to do away with the oh god, what was it?
The takeover.
Yes. They just got rid of it. They didn't talk about it again. It just went away, and then like literally never answered questions about it again. Like, that would be great if they did that with these teams, but usually producers are very, very reticent to admit their own fault. So I think you're not going to get your wish.
No, hey, Rob Gronkowski rolled up on a cruise ship and took that terrible twist away. He's been on a lot of teams. Maybe he'll show up as a coach for something, a football comp, and he'll just ruin this twist as well. I hope so. But after we see some of this develop, we start to get a light shined on some of the players' games. We get to see a little bit about Beth and what she has going on. Beth is one of the more interesting players to me so far in the game. I expected almost nothing from Beth. And despite her annoying voice in the POV, she is doing a lot. She's in a showmance or two. She's in an alliance or two. What are your thoughts on Beth's game so far? I'm really impressed with her.
Really, I wouldn't call myself really impressed with her. I'm moderately impressed with her based on my expectations of her, which I guess is true of Tina as well, because I think that's where a lot of people were coming from and comparing her to fucking Derek when literally she did one fucking thing in the house. And now it's not even going to stick probably. So, but we'll get to it. It's frustrating to me that I think people make judgments on house guests right away. The thing about Beth that I do enjoy is that she seems to be a total flirt. She doesn't care. She's a little bit of a hoe, let's be honest. And I'm not slut shaming her. I'm not, because I'm a total slut too. So I understand where she's coming from. Those are two gorgeous men, and she has her pick. I can't remember who was on Twitter that said she has her pick of literally like Prince Charming and Philip. Like, she got both of them. She gets to hang out and cuddle with Ty, and then kiss Jed when the feeds are down or something. It's very fun for her. So I'm all about it. But other than that, it does seem like she's at least been brought in on most of the things that are happening. She was the last person added to the Sunsetters, which they don't make really clear in the episode, but I can tell you from the feeds that that's what happened. I think she was brought in by way of Jed or Ty. Honestly, I can't remember. She was having a conversation. It was Ty, wasn't it? Anyway, point being, she was brought in last. And she's done a pretty good job. I do think that she overall is cognizant of the fact that she was brought in last and is really making an effort to feel, I want to feel involved. I want people to notice that I'm here and I'm for this alliance. And if she can do that, good for her. But based on what I saw of her preseason, I didn't think that was going to be possible for her to really get a foothold in the game. And it's nice to see that she's down for whatever at this point. She's here to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, as we were talking last week about how hot Ty and Jed are, never did I think in a million years that one girl would be having a showmance with both of these guys at the same time. This is next level. I don't know if it's Big Brother next level strategy, but it's certainly next level showman strategy. I'm very impressed.
Yes, but Jed and Ty are also having a bromance with each other, so it's like a total love triangle at this point. Did you see them in the tub, by the way?
Oh yeah, that was very homoerotic. Yes.
Yes, and he's like, dude, it touched me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you have not seen that clip, look that up on Twitter. That's going around. That's very funny.
Yeah, and keep in mind, like they're this far apart. He's like, dude, it touched me, and I'm like, what is it, like 13 inches? What is that? I have no idea what he's talking about. I'd like to see though. I'm just saying.
And then after we get to see a little bit about Beth's game, we see the house wrap, which of course we heard on the feeds for hours.
Yes.
I don't know if this was the best version they got out, but this was a version sitting around in the living room doing the rap. Who was your favorite rapper?
Oh, God. I think I would probably have to go with Beth. Wasn't it Beth that was talking about her bad breath?
Yeah.
Yes, was her, right? Yes. Just because like they totally fell out when she did it, and she talked like and her voice got really loud too. I think the person I liked the worst was probably Braden. I don't think that he went all out. He was sort of just like clapping his hand like he was again Sunday school or something, and then just like quickly moved on from it. Like he wasn't game. So I know that. People in the chat are like, this is a relevant filler. It's not a relevant filler because it was a house bonding exercise and we rarely get stuff like this. So I'm glad that they gave it to us. But overall, like I love that. I love two things. Number one, that they put it on the episode. Number two, that they let us see it on the feeds, because anytime that the house guests are rapping or singing or anything like that, even if it's like a song they made up, Big Brother tends to get very nervous and cut the feed. So the fact that they didn't this time, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this was cool to get to see. I mean, I don't know how relevant it was to pretty much anything, but I thought it was fun. I loved it.
It's fun TV. You know what? I like stuff like this. This is fun. Like, we're going to remember something like this. This is awesome.
Yeah, we need the weird sideshow shit, and we can all remember that Beth can't rap. It's awesome.
Yes, right?
Yeah. The next clip, we get some hideous laughter filling the house, and I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and this is one of my favorite spells in D&D is Tasha's hideous laughter, and you can actually kill people by making them listen to this terrible laughter.
Really? Okay.
For the house guests here, as they start hearing like clowns, and then all of a sudden, the Have Not room is open with the ball pit. We've been waiting for it. What do you think about the ball pit and its reveal? It's way deeper than I thought it was going to be.
Way deeper. Very cool. I love the fact that you can actually go diving in the ball pit. I understand where some people, we'll talk about her, but I understand where some people are coming from when they're like, I don't like the ball pit, but I have to say, if I saw this in front of me, I would have been like Victoria. I would have literally been diving in it and having a blast. I mean, what else do you have to do in that house besides get into the Have Not room and dive in the ball pit? I don't think it would get old for a while. I'm overall pretty excited about it, but I have to say the best part of that particular segment was Toya with her bitch face on when she saw the ball pit. And it's not even the worst one. My friend Doug on Twitter sent me a picture of her in the balls with just her eyes above the balls themselves, and she looks so mad.
Oh,
she's so mad about it. She's so not here for it. So it's very fun.
Yeah, no, I was trying to figure out, like, man, is she just no fun? Is she just absolutely serious all the time? I think she was trying to think through what was going on in that room. She was looking for something to be hidden or some other advantage or something. I don't know if it's like Survivor when you win a reward and you're looking for the clue, if she's looking for a secret door, a secret passage somewhere. But I think she's just always game, going. But yeah, that clip is fantastic of her just staring at the ball. Fun.
Are you with me in that? I think that one of the balls has to have something. There may be like a purple ball somewhere or a rainbow ball somewhere or something that nobody's noticed yet that has to have something in it, because that would be the perfect place for Big Brother to hide something. Don't you think?
Yeah, I honestly hadn't thought about that. That's pretty genius. I'd be shocked if they hadn't found it yet, though. If there's like one silver ball in the mix or something that really stands out.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't think there's that ball that's like a single color all by itself. But I do think there's a chance that one of the balls has some information or a particular power in it. I'm definitely here for that.
I would absolutely love that, especially if it's like something that is revealed to the have-not, so that there's almost some advantage to being a have-not. That could be a lot of fun if like you get people eventually start campaigning to be have-nots because there might be twists that incentivize that. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, I could see them doing a lot with that. I like the ball pit, however gross it might be. Maybe they'll clean them at some point. I don't know. But the house guests they're all sanitized, I guess, if they're doing this during COVID. But let's get into the veto comp. This is called "Don't Upset the Apple Cart," and I think it might be the worst titled veto comp ever because don't they want the players to upset the apple cart? Don't they want them to really make some big moves and turn things around? Yeah, so we get into the comp and we see they're going to be. Sorry, is there a lag going on?
No, keep going.
Okay,
yeah. There's a little bit of a lag. Yeah, definitely. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah.
No worries.
Go ahead. I think we're good.
Sweet. So yeah, they're transporting the apples on the balance beam. We've got Kiefer, Josh, Victoria, Tara, and Tina all playing. And of course, the HOH, again, this season does not get to play in Big Brother Canada. Do you like the fact that the HOH has to miss out on the POV, or is this annoying?
I mean, like, it's kind of annoying to me because I am used to Big Brother US where the HOH can make a big move and obviously make themselves a big target if they win HOH and veto in the same week, making themselves like a doubly big target for everyone to remember. Because oftentimes people forget who won HOH or who won veto or who did what in what week, but they always remember somebody that won HOH and veto during the same week. So obviously, like, it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I understand why Big Brother Canada wants to do this, but I talked about this in previous seasons where by forcing HOHs to sit out the veto, you essentially save them from making themselves a big target, obviously fermenting the possibility that the same people are going to win HOH in subsequent weeks because of the fact that the house guests aren't onto them as big competitors yet. So I really wish they would allow them to compete, but Big Brother Canada is going to Big Brother Canada, and this is just what they do. So whatever, it's fine. It worked out this week because we got some drama.
Yeah, my knee-jerk reaction is I love the HOH not playing in this, but I think you're right that it ends up helping the big threats hide, because I think initially their idea, probably when they're in the writer's room, is like, let's do something so the people who win comps can't just steamroll an entire week. Let's give other people the power to step in and do something to upset the power structures. But yeah, I think you're right. It lets someone like Dane really slide. It lets these power people hide in the background a little bit more because they're not controlling an entire week on their own.
Well, as Derek from Big Brother, I'm sorry, I was mixed up. Big Brother 16 always says the thing about vetoes is, you know what? He doesn't give a fuck about vetoes. Vetoes have no power. So the fact that you're saving the HOH from competing and letting other people compete, like, that's not going to do anything to change the trajectory of the house or the alliances as they stand or anything about who gets nominated. It changes literally nothing. It saves one person for 1 week with one vote. That's all it freaking does. All you want to do is to give the HOH an opportunity to make themselves a big target so the comp winners reveal themselves and the house is more likely to take another look at them and say, obviously so-and-so has won HOH and POV and then they won HOH again. Let's get rid of them at this point. But they don't. They're like, by preventing them from playing veto, it stops them from even realizing it before it's too late in the first place. And then people who win HOH are typically likely to win HOH again because they get more confidence. And obviously, if they won before, they're probably good at whatever particular skill set Big Brother is coming up on down the line. So it just sort of fulfills itself not in a way that Big Brother Canada wants. And I wish they would change it. But again, they don't listen to us. And if they did, we wouldn't have the teams to begin with.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so Tina is the one who she was picked by house guest choice by Kiefer as they're out there. And I would like to talk a little bit about Tina's game because I found it interesting that Kiefer picked her and then Tina is immediately saying, if I win this, I'm keeping them the same.
Yes, I think that Josh was the one who got house's choice and picked Tina.
I said that completely wrong. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. No, yeah, but still, we don't understand that because Josh is like, wait, I'm going to pick Tina. And Tina says to the camera, I'm going to win and I'm going to keep nominations the same, which obviously is not what Josh wants. Josh picks Tina because she's the oldest house guest in the house and he thinks that he can beat her in a physical competition, which I don't even know. Actually, he ended up tying with her. That's what he did. He ended up tying with her because second and third tied. We don't know how many apples they got, but then Kiefer won with like 31 apples or something. So that's why he picked her.
Yeah, why the hell couldn't they just tell us how many apples they got in second place? Because Josh looked like he had a lot of apples.
He did.
That was pretty impressive. I would have loved to see the breakdown. But into the competition, Josh has a very interesting apple strategy where this is sort of like the equivalent, I guess, of doing the puzzle on the ground and then putting it up in the actual base.
Is it? I mean, I don't know what he was doing. Like, you can only put, look, here's the thing. If you could put all of the apples onto your cart at once, maybe this strategy is valid. But his dumbass was back there, like, flirting with the apples, smelling the apples like he was in a goddamn supermarket. And I really had no clue. He said to the cameras that he's trying to become, like, one with the apples or something. It was like a Zen moment or something. I don't know. It was terrible. I literally had flashbacks to Kathy in the caramel saying, I'm going to go slow and steady. And then, cue to Brittany in the diary room going, okay, Kathy, slow and steady. Meanwhile, there's a race happening, which is what Josh was doing. I don't even know how he got caught up in the first place because it looked like he was so far behind. And then, like, all of a sudden he's like, challenging for first place. So who knows? But he came within, I'll say this. When it was 7 seconds left and he was like halfway on the beam, I really didn't think he was going to make it. I was like, there's no freaking way he can get back to the start in 7 seconds. But somehow he did. I really thought he was going to win at that point. Of course, I knew Kiefer won from the feeds. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm impressed. I sincerely hope, I love Josh so much. It's moments like this where I'm like, what is this buffoon doing? I thought he was being set up for this doofus edit in the veto, and then all of a sudden, no, he's like right there. He might have lost by 1 apple. It might have been that close because he sure as hell had a lot of apples on there. It was so much fun. I really hope that he somehow sticks around and learns how to play Big Brother because he's that guy who keeps failing up endlessly. Has the stupidest veto strategy ever. Almost accidentally wins. He has the worst strategy in the house, worst social game, yet he somehow keeps sticking around, it seems. I am a big fan of him and whatever the hell he has going on, his weird DRs. If we want authentic DRs, he's giving them to us because I think they may have tried to coach him and be like, hey, no, you need to emote a little more. You need to speak clearly. You need to not say mumbly nonsense. But it's impossible with him. There's no way he's not.
If I didn't know better, I would say he's on something. Like, I seriously, like, it's like they didn't totally search his luggage and he still's got some doobie in there or something because he is out of it. He's absolutely out of it in the diary room. Like, I'm trying and I know they're going to put me up again and it's such a weak move. Like he just talks like that. It's very crazy, but he's definitely interesting. I mean, I know that there are people on Twitter and the internet who are definitely behind you, Zach. They feel the Josh love. They're Josh stands out there. So depending on, well, we know that it's Roe up against him. So, depending on how much love Roe gets from Twitterverse, I don't know who Twitter is going to be rooting for to get evicted this week. But Josh, look, here, I really don't see a bad situation. It's going to suck no matter what because one of these two guys, and they're both awesome, goes home. But on the other hand, one of them is going to stay. And obviously, if it's Josh, we're going to get some interesting DRs and a lot of, haphazard gameplay. And if it's Roe, we're probably going to get some big swings at the opposing alliance. So, it's a win-win sort of lose-lose situation for us all.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I definitely am standing Josh, though, at this point. I'm ready to say if this persona continues, he might be my favorite Big Brother Canada personality. I won't say player because I don't think he's actually playing.
Yeah.
But personality in years, I think he's a blast. I love having him.
I don't know where they found him. He's so cool. Partly Cloudy in the chat says that Josh reminds them of a Debbie Downer, which an SNL character. I would say he's more of an Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Like he just never seems to be really all that happy, and he's always whining and bitching about his situation. And he always comes up with these like haphazard ways of getting done what he wants to get done. But like, I mean, even last week, I'm not willing to totally give him credit for staying, even though the show might be willing to give him credit for it. So if there is a situation where he eventually comes up with a way to save himself this week, I hope that the show shows it. And if it's not him that's giving him, if it's not him that ends up being the one that saves himself this week, I hope that the show doesn't make it look like he's the one who did it, because that's not true either.
Yeah, no, I think we're gonna get the Josh Mastermind edit if he somehow is able to get around with another flip.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's gonna be so complicated to explain how he stayed again. They're just gonna be like, no, just sell it that Josh did it. That's way easier. You can throw 1 or 2 clips in there of him turning people around. I think that's what we're gonna get. Yeah. I thought that he was like Gen Z Kurt Cobain was kind of how I was thinking of him. But then I looked at his age on the Chiron on the screen. The dude is 30 years old. He's my age. I was like, what? I thought he was maybe 21. That's insane to me. That's wild. Yeah. I have to meet this guy someday.
That's what he's been bitching about too, is the fact that he's young and that they're, this is a little bit of an older cast and he doesn't identify with them very well. Like they all have life experiences above him and he just doesn't know how to fit in, which is again is why I call him Eeyore. So like if overall he can improve his lot in the house, I'm all here for it. But on the other hand, Ro is a really fascinating character for me, and I'm really not ready to lose him either. I wish they would just cancel the eviction this week and move on to the next week and cancel the teams and, do something fun, but we're not going to get it.
Well, this is the problem when we've been waiting for a good season of Big Brother with a likable cast for so long. We get a fully likable cast, and I don't want any of these people to go. They're pretty much all great. A couple people need to wake the fuck up and start playing Big Brother, but all these people seem genuinely lovely. I like them all, and I want them all to play hard and have fun. And that's a weird place to be as a Big Brother fan because I'm used to Big Brother 22 and the chaos that was Big Brother 8. And it's been a long time since I liked a cast. This is so weird, but...
well, let's talk about that because I'm totally willing to give the people who cast the show, who I don't even know who it was. I don't think it was Grodner. Robin. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Robin Cass. Robin Cass, because Robin Cass was tweeting about the cast the other day. So somehow, whoever, like her, combined with the producers of the show, including Rissa Cox, who's now an executive producer, thank God, did a great job of finding people like Toya, who I don't know would ever make it onto an American version of the show, but thank God they put her on this goddamn show because she's absolutely amazing. I love Toya. Can we just talk about her for a moment? Because I've seen some people on Twitter hating on her a little bit, and obviously, because they feel like she's just trying to strong arm things, but I love the fact that she's so here for herself. She's here for the team. She wants to get it done. She's going to keep it real. And like, she really doesn't suffer fools. She really doesn't. And I know you haven't seen her a ton on the episode. She's been pretty benign in the episode. Like, you haven't really, like, I mean, I know we saw her in the eviction episode with Julie, but like, at least as far as last Monday night and tonight, we haven't really seen a ton of Toya. But she's amazing. I'm a big stan of her. I love her to death. And I'm so glad that a player like this is getting an opportunity on a Big Brother season, even in something like Big Brother Canada.
Yeah, no, I've never seen anyone like her on a season either. I can't really imagine her possibly getting cast on any Big Brother US season. She's so intense and so self-assured. Like, I don't know. I guess my worry for her is she's really doubled down on this idea of like, I will not lie to people. I will not suffer fools. I will play a really heads up, serious, honorable game. At what point is that going to be her downfall? She's really set up well right now, but is she gonna stick to that, or do you see her actually turning and making moves?
I see her turning and making moves. I mean, that gets into a little bit of spoiler territory, but I don't think she's going to stay married to this idea of I'm going to keep it totally real with everybody and give people my word and never lie to them, because just by virtue of being in an alliance that she's literally lying to people about, like, people come to her and they're like, obviously there's no big group, and she's like, nah, of course there's no big group. Well, you're lying to them then. So like, why draw a line at all? If you're going to lie, you're going to lie, and let's just get over it and play the fucking game. So I do think she's going to come around to that.
Yeah, and I think that when you've got characters like Josh and you've got characters like Toya both in the house together at the same time, I love it. You've got the like doofiness over here, the intensity over here. They balance each other out really well. I think if you had a cast of all Toyas, no thank you. If you had a cast of all Joshes, no thank you. But I like these outside the box personalities they're bringing in that we haven't seen play Big Brother before.
Yeah. Well, and like, people like Austin and Braden, who are currently, at the bottom of my totem pole in terms of who I'm rooting for and who I like to watch, which is an amazing combination, because usually the people that I'm rooting for, I like to watch, and they're losing on both counts at this point. And the reason is because they seem to it's like the denial effect, and I've talked about this in previous seasons, where people like Braden, who think they know the game, are saying to themselves, oh, well, there's no way that a big alliance could be happening in the house, because if there was one, I would know about it because I'm that good of a player. And obviously I would know about it. Like, if something was happening, I would catch a smell of it. Like, I mean, that's just how it would be. But they don't realize that the game is being played around them, and that they've done such a great job of casting this year, because everyone is, for the most part, game to play. Everyone realizes that they're here. They're going to play the game. They're going to lie and cheat and steal, and it's okay. And it doesn't make you a bad person. Oh, wow. I mean, it's such a blessing. And obviously there are people who are not up to speed, but I'm hoping they will get up to speed. And obviously there could be events that transpire this week that will cause them to get up to speed. Obviously, if the Alliance reveals themselves at some point, that would be something that would cause people like Austin and Braden to get up to speed. And obviously, if the Sunsetters stub their toe, then obviously they might be outed sooner than later.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're a fan of this game, when's the last time that there was a week that went by in Big Brother when's the last time we got to week 2 and there's not a majority alliance in the house?
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing. Loss. I can't even remember. Are we going back to what, like BB 8 or something? Like we're going back deep cuts. Like I can't even think of when that possibly happened. So come on, if you are not on the absolute unicorn of a season where no major alliance formed in the first week, wake up and figure out where it is, because it is definitely there. If you go on Big Brother, it is there.
Yeah, I know that Kristen McInnes is loath to speak ill of Braden at this point. Obviously, she's rooting for Braden, but she has to recognize the faults that are in his game. And I saw somebody make a joke that, like, hey, what can Kirsten tell him? She didn't even make it in the house. Bitch, Kristen McInnes knows a lot about Big Brother, and she's been a fan of it for many, many years, just like we are. So I'm sure she gave him some definite pointers on this. I'm not sure that, this particular idea about, hey, if you don't notice that there's an alliance in the house, you should be aware that there's probably one that you just don't know about, because it challenges your very idea of the substance of yourself as a player. You go into the house thinking, I'm a badass. I know this game. I know what I'm doing. And to confront the idea that there's something happening around you that you have no idea what's happening, once you confront that, then you have to confront the idea that you're in trouble. And no one wants to confront the fact that they're in trouble. They'd rather live in the summer camp world of Austin and Braden, where everything is, peaches and rainbows, and, there's nothing bad happening in the house, and they're going to make it to the end because they're cool people.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The other thing, if we're talking Austin and Braden, they're having this conversation later on about potentially breaking up the Jed Ty Toya connection and putting one of them on the block.
Should have done it.
Yeah, they definitely should have done it. Is Austin even being remotely genuine in these conversations? Like, she's never going to do this in a million years, right?
I mean, no, I don't think she really was. I think this was just, like play talk between her and Braden. Like, wouldn't it be great to do this? Yes. I mean, like, but in like either in that conversation or previous conversation, they were already talking about the fact they were fast forwarding to next week, and like, I hope the person who wins next week can backdoor Toya. Wouldn't that be great if someone could backdoor Toya? I'm like, oh, it's just so frustrating to hear talk like that when you have the HOH key in your hand and you could do whatever you want. You literally could do whatever you want, and you're not going to do it. In fact, you could really do whatever you want, because the teams are set up in such a way that it almost forces you, like, hey, if you don't want to put up Braden, you don't want to put up Roe, and Jed is your boy, then you have to put up Toya. So like, just you can make up reasons why you have to put up Toya, but she's not going to go for it. She didn't go for it, and she put up Roe.
Yeah, you've got such an easy out there. It's a little frustrating if you've got your number one there and you're willing to spill everything with them. You're going to be totally genuine with them, and then you're not. That's even more frustrating to me than not playing the game. Is like, why? Like, you don't even know who your allies are or how to rank them. Like, the people who are not actually your allies, you're ranking higher than your closest ally with how much information you're giving them and how genuine you're being. Come on, Austin. That's really rough. But we got to go back. I was saying my favorite parts of the show are always the character scenes. We got to go back. We did not celebrate Kiefer winning and this elaborate celebration he gives us, which is like, I don't know where this came from. It reminded me of a Maori haka dance. I took students to New Zealand a few years ago. I teach high school, and we went to a Maori village, and I got nominated, of course, because it was embarrassing to do a haka dance with the whole group.
Yes.
And he about had it down with the tongue out and the stomping. It looked a lot like that, and it was so much fun. Kiefer having fun makes me have fun, and I hope to see more of that.
Yes, and I will admit that there have been times throughout the week where he has annoyed me at various times, and he thinks a little bit highly of himself as a player. But then again, a lot of people do in the house, and there are people who have less of an alliance and less of a position to show for it than he does. So that's okay. Overall, I was really excited that he won POV, because I think that it will give him some currency in the house. It will allow people to see him perhaps in a different light. And I know that there were some people on Twitter and other podcasts who were talking about the fact that, hey, they didn't give him congratulations. They were like, I'm so proud of you, Kiefer. And I'm like, I don't think Kiefer really cares. I think he's just happy he won the goddamn POV. He's off the block and on to another week, like at that point. So, and I do think that even though it may not mean a lot right now, that this could pay dividends for him later on. If people start thinking about, who do I want to align with, and who am I nervous about?
Yeah. And the POV he wins has some really nice vines growing through the necklace. Did you notice that?
Yeah. I wondered what that was. I thought it was like bedazzled with emeralds. It's vines apparently?
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's got like the emeralds and stuff on the front, and then it's got vines going.
Boy, they are really going all out with the sequel. Who will rewrite history? I saw the people from Big Brother Canada 8 on Twitter, and other people who were like, "Oh yeah, they're pissy. They are pissy, pissoir. Like they're so mad that these people are in their house, and it's just basically been redecorated with some vines. They think that they're being trolled. I still am on the opinion that look. Here's the thing: one of two things has to happen. Either they're going to bring somebody back, or two people are coming in the house next week. Like because remember, Allison came in the house in week 3. So in Big Brother Canada 2. So I think there's a chance that still we could see somebody from Big Brother seasons past, Big Brother Canada seasons past, obviously, come into the house as like new captains or something like that. But I'm not convinced yet that this is the final makeup of the house.
No, I'm fully convinced. I said it last week when I was talking with Peter, and he revealed some spoilery information accidentally about who may or may not be texting him within the last couple of days, and definitely is not coming back. But yeah, so I solidly think.
So go ahead.
No, I solidly think the only explanation for these teams being called Destiny and Defender is that we've got someone who had a lot of Destiny and was cut short is coming into captain one team, and someone who is defending their legacy is coming into captain the other team. And that is the only way that makes any fucking sense, because those two words are not in opposition. They're not even the same like type of word. It doesn't make any sense. And these teams don't make any sense. We got to do something to make this whole twist come together, because Big Brother Canada is too high production. They're too clever for this to have just random crap thrown at the wall for these team names and the team structure. It's got to be something.
Yeah, I would probably concur with that. Just to be clear, so he told you someone who's definitely not going to be back on the season, but did he spill that there may be somebody coming back at all, or there could be somebody coming back at all, or
he said?
What can you tell us?
So according to Peter Brown and according to the entire Big Brother Canada alumni community, yes, they are convinced people are coming back.
Yes.
Yes, they are convinced. So
yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah, they would know more than I would, and definitely no Sheldon is also what he spelled. So
no Sheldon. I thought he would be. I thought he would really come back. I really did. I thought that. I mean, it would. I mean, I know people were talking about Brooke and Sheldon, but I thought there was no way they'd bring both of them back. So I thought they'd bring back Sheldon, because I knew Brooke was like in the chat with Taryn in the Twitch or something talking to him. So I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I hope they announce that tomorrow after the vote.
By the way,
time to do it.
Yeah, since we were talking about Kiefer and the veto dance, can we just talk quickly about the veto competition? It took me forever to realize exactly what was happening during this veto competition. I understood the fact that you had to go across, get 5 apples, and then come back to the start. But I didn't understand what happened at the start. Like okay, so you take the wheelbarrow and you go across, you put 5 apples on your wheelbarrow, on your platform, and then you go back to the start backwards, which of course I wanted them to turn around, but apparently they couldn't turn around. I'm sure Big Brother told them that. And then they get back to the start and they just start moving again. Like, it was just odd. Like, there wasn't anything. It's not like you brought them back and did anything with them. You just went back to the start and then started moving out again. Like, that's weird, isn't it?
Big Brother Canada gave us a convoluted, pointless twist to the challenge. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
There's no way. It almost sounds like the team twist.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
oh my God.
It was really dumb.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, it was
wow.
really dumb that they added this onto the challenge. I don't know why it couldn't just be like, bring them across on another wheelbarrow and then stack them on something wobbly on the other end. That's much more visual.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I just didn't understand the point of this, but I was glad to see, like I said, Kiefer got his win. It was an interesting competition. I love watching Kiefer panicking on the side when Josh is like getting more and more apples, and he's like, and then he starts to go for the apples, and then 2 more apples fall off his cart. Think if Kiefer had lost by like 1 apple, how mad he would have been. It would have been Feed's gold. I would have been so here for it. But alas, not to be.
Yeah. No, yeah. And another highlight after Kiefer does win and celebrate eventually, we cut back into the house to see some of the fallout. And instead of Kiefer being bummed, we see Josh being bummed in his underwear. And he says, sup dog, to whoever that was that walked in the room, which has to be one of my favorite scenes in recent memory of this dude in his underwear, just standing there saying sup dog.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Josh in his underwear? I would imagine you had some kind of thought.
I mean, I'd fuck him in a heartbeat, but I mean, let's be real. He looks stunning. Like he's got a model body, like not in terms of like a muscle body, but he's like a slinky Twinkie body that would walk the runway. He's got really fun hair too. I used to have hair like that. I mean, still have hair, but I used to have much longer hair. I could flip around and whatnot, like Josh has. Overall, I'm here for him. I don't think I'm as big of a Josh stan as you are, but fortunately, Big Brother Canada did such a good job of casting this season that even the people in the house that I'm not totally here for, they are miles above what we would get for social influencers on Big Brother USA. So I'm here for it, and if there's no bad outcome this week. If he stays, I'm cool for it.
Yeah. So back in the house, then there's going to have to be a replacement nominee. The big talk is that it's going to be Rowan or Rohan, or I'm just going to call him Ro because
They call him Ro in the house, so let's call him Ro. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. That is a weight off of my back to just say Ro. So yeah, Ro and Tara are conspiring that they need to come up with some other option. If I was looking for an ally in the house to try to save me, Tara would easily be the last person I asked for help from.
Yes.
What do you think about their campaign?
I mean, look, here's Big Brother Canada pulled a goddamn miracle because they made Tara look smart. They had her talking to the camera in the diary room, talking to us about, obviously there are people from both sides, from both teams that are working together. It's obvious. But even though she's never, ever said anything like that in the house to anybody that I know of, but they made her look smart in the present time. Obviously, it did nothing to change Ro's fate with Austin. And I have to feel like, given Austin's general disposition about wanting to slink back into the shadows after her HOH is already over, I mean, this is the only play that she has at this point. I mean, unless she wants to make a move, which she doesn't seem to want to do. Yeah. Shame. She's gonna nominate Ro. That's what she's gonna do.
Yeah, this team twist sucks. She pretty much had one option because the other options she had were huge moves. This is pretty much just dictated to her. Nothing they could have done.
Yeah, she can't nominate her best friend. She can't nominate the biggest physical threat in the house in Jed. And she can't nominate the person that she made a deal with in the HOH competition in an open forum. So she has to nominate Ro.
Yeah, and we'll have to talk more once we get into feed spoilers, because I've been watching some feeds, not a ton. But I'm interested to hear if the people who are safe, how hard they're playing.
Yes. Let's talk. Yes, because do we have anything else in the episode we want to talk about?
No, it's a pretty uneventful veto ceremony. So I think let's go into feeds. Let's do it.
Yes. So this is not spoiler territory. I can tell you that it has been an eventful week in the Big Brother Canada house. In fact, at this very moment, I do not know who is going home. Today alone, the house has flipped and then flipped back, and it started to flip again. So I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. if I had to make a call, I'm going to go with the party line, and the party line has been Tina because everyone seems to be sucking Tina's dick at this point. So let's go with Tina. Tina obviously doesn't want to lose Ro. She thinks that's a bad idea, even though earlier today she was sort of dissuaded by Kiefer of her position within the Ro, Kyle / Tina thing, which we haven't even seen on the goddamn episode. But Tina, obviously she's close to the people in the Sunsetters, and particularly she's close to Jed and Ty. And it's Ty, by the way, not Tyshawn. I think he's going by Ty in the house as well, just so you know. And then
all these short names.
I know.
Easy, I like it.
Yeah, but Ro and Kyle, who are a duo, who you haven't seen in the house or on the episodes. I mean, you have seen in the house, but not on the episodes. Ro and Kyle are a duo in the house. They're working together. And the thing about Ro is willing to take big swings. He's willing to put Jed on the block. He's willing to put, Ty on the block. He's willing to put people in the house who he's nervous about their position. He's willing to put Toya on the block. He's willing to put these kinds of people on the block in order to get his way in the house and improve his position. Then you have somebody like Josh, who would probably go into next week and nominate Austin and Braden or something. Yeah, I mean, like it's so important that Ro stays. And I know that there are people like yourself who are like, Josh stands. And again, if he stays, that's great, because Josh has been going to people saying, look, I'm cool being a pawn next week. And because of the team twist, they know that if things go the way they've been going and Team Defender loses again, they're going to have to put people up from that. If they remove Josh, then obviously their options are limited. There are people who are saying, like obviously Toya and Kiefer, who are saying, hey, let's get rid of Ro and let's keep Josh. That way we can keep nominating him week after week. And obviously Kiefer's on Team Defender, so he has to be nervous about his position. I mean, maybe at some point his alliance says, screw you, or maybe they just run out of nominees at some point. So he's nervous about it, but obviously Tina has been working to try to get her way. Just 2 days ago, this flip started to happen. And Tino single-handedly put a stop to it, which is where the Derek comparisons came in. But then, obviously, over the last 24 hours, there was a house meeting. Jed called a house meeting. He tried to find out who was saying his name. Other stuff came out. I'm really trying to distill all this down so I don't have to get into the weeds with you guys. But basically, he didn't look good in that meeting, and neither did Ro, for that matter. Ro didn't look good in the house meeting whatsoever because he got caught in a couple of lies. He mostly told the truth, but he got caught in a couple lies concerning Tina that made her nervous about her position with Ro and Kyle, because she's like, well, if he's lying here, then, what else is he lying about? So at this point, I don't know what's going to happen. It's basically a tug of war between Tina and Toya. But the thing is, Tina has sway over Toya, but it's sort of intermittent at this point. Obviously, Kiefer was pushing to save Josh earlier in the day, but now he's having second thoughts. So even the people that were pushing for Josh to stay are now having second thoughts. And this is what I was alluding to previously. Because this alliance has flipped and flipped and flipped and is flipped again, they have waited until the last moment. Okay, they're going to decide tonight what they're saying. And then they're like, we're never going to speak about this again. Which is all well and good, but they were talking about this on fucking Sunday. Again, I remind you guys, they were talking about this before the replacement nominee was even named. And they could have done the long con, as I call it, where basically the main alliance reaches out its branches to all the parachute alliances and convinces them of the fact that this is a good move for them. And that way, when the votes come in on Thursday night, it's a unanimous vote and no one is any the wiser that the alliance flipped the vote. But by waiting until the last moment, they don't have time to do that unless they're going to do it in a really hurried manner. So what's going to probably happen if they do flip tomorrow and evict Ro, then the Sunsetters are obviously going to vote to evict Ro. Everyone else is probably going to vote to evict Josh, and it's going to come back a split vote. The people who are on the losing side of the vote are going to get wise to what the fuck happened. Obviously, it was supposed to be a unanimous vote to evict Josh. And that didn't happen. So why did it happen? Hopefully then people like Austin, people like Braden, people like Tara can wake the fuck up and realize that the game is being played around them. So I'm hoping that the Sunsetters are stupid enough to do this. On the other hand, by them being stupid enough to do it means that we lose Ro, which I really don't want to lose because, again, of the two of them, Ro is the person who's willing to take the big shots at the people who are currently controlling the game that nobody else will take shots at. And Josh is basically an Eeyore at this point. Although he's a very fun, hot Eeyore who I would totally do, but still, it's not worth keeping in the Big Brother house when you have all of these lovelies. So I want to, for my money at this point, I want to evict Josh and keep Ro, but the house is going to decide tonight.
Wow. Okay. So Tina is like central to everything, it seems, but you are down on the Tina Derek comparisons. In general, so we haven't seen a whole lot of Tina really on the show at all. But yeah, when I check out the feeds and when I check out what people are saying that I missed, it sounds like Tina's right smack in the middle of everything, calling all the shots. Everyone loves Tina. It sounds like the Atlantic provinces knew what they were talking about when they voted her a captain. What is your reticence to give Tina a lot of credit right now?
Just because I feel like that if this were any other player, we would not be standing this hard. We would not be feeling this way. She's like replacement level plus at this point. Right. She's not even an amazing player. She hasn't done anything to warrant that sort of praise. And I know I'm being a little facetious. There's no one, certainly not Taryn, was calling her Derek, but there were Derek comparisons through other people on social media. They were like, oh my God, she's so amazing. I'm like, literally, she hasn't done anything. So I guess that's where I'm coming from. To anoint her so quickly seems a little bit misguided. I understand that people reach back through the ages to find other people that they can compare her to. But even with what she's currently done, I don't even believe that it warranted that because, again, obviously it didn't stick. So how can you really call her anything good at this point? She may not get her way. And even if she does go along with this eventual flip and vote to evict Ro, it's going to be not because she's not exerting her influence, but because other people in the alliance have caused her to question her position within the Ro, Kyle, Jed, Ty dyad, basically, which she thought she was in the middle of. And if she thinks that she's not in the middle of that, then she has no reason to keep Ro. But if she thinks she's in the middle of that and that both sides will protect her, then obviously that's good for her because both sides will go after the other and she's free and clear. Make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's a lot to unpack, but that makes sense. So we may have a split vote, but not because the house is split, but because the Sunsetters have so mismanaged this vote and gone back.
They've mismanaged the vote and they've mismanaged their time. The thing is that they are so disparate, and you heard it in the episode where they talked about the fact that no one would expect us to come together. Well, that's certainly true. But then use what you've got for your advantage. No one would expect you to come together. So obviously you all have different relationships with people in the house that you can talk to. Jed and Ty are relatively close to Austin. They could talk to her. They could get her on board, which gets Braden on board. Other people could talk to other people and find a way to make sure that this flip happens with no one being any the wiser that there's a majority alliance controlling things secretly. But by waiting until the last minute, they've really put themselves in a bind. Obviously, they have 24 hours, not even until the episodes, because remember the episodes in Big Brother Canada are taped, and even though there's no studio audience, so we don't get spoilers, they are taped around 2:00 in the afternoon. So they really only have until about probably noon until they have to start getting dressed and getting into position. So, I mean, if this is going to happen, it needs to happen soon, and they need to shut their mouths after that. So, I at this point, if I were them, just I hate saying this, but do the safe choice. Because they waited too long. They cannot make the move without outing themselves at this point. They need to just go along, evict Josh, keep Ro, and then they'll be hidden. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I'm team messy, Big Brother. So go for the fixes, make this awful move, blow up your whole alliance, save my boy Josh. That's fantastic.
Yeah, there's no bad outcome here. So I feel like it's a win-win for us feeders, no matter what.
Yeah. Cool. I'm excited no matter how it goes down. What are we expecting to see? What are going to be some big moments on the episode tomorrow?
I saw Taryn making a joke about the episode tomorrow that instead of all of this amazing strategy, we're going to get, TikToks and, rap battles and ball pits and HOH competition and sayonara. That's all we're going to get. I don't know what we're going to get tomorrow. I'm hoping Big Brother... See, they didn't show it. Again, I told you that a lot of the stuff that was happening about the Ro versus Josh discussions were really happening on Sunday before the replacement nominee was even named. So I'm hoping that they're holding that footage for Thursday night and then sort of showing things out of order, but it'll still make sense to a wide audience. On the other hand, They have footage from yesterday and today that they can use showing about the flip. But again, they don't care. The footage from Sunday is what you're probably going to see, because the footage from last night, again, it's so hard to edit it. It happened like literally 24 hours ago. I don't think they're going to use that. I think they'll probably use the stuff from Sunday night. And then you'll see it on Thursday. And then again, going into the episode, I have no idea what's going to happen unless we really get a decision tonight. Because even though they're saying we're going to decide tonight and then not talk about it any further, these people are so willy-nilly that they can't help themselves. They're so drunk with power at this point, which I think is going to be their downfall.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see anything from the House meeting on the eviction episode, or you think they're going to stash that?
I don't know. I mean, if they're trying to explain a Roe eviction, maybe.
Okay.
Because he didn't look great during the House meeting. But on the other hand, Jed looked terrible, and I think they're trying to protect him. So I don't know that if we see the House meeting, we're probably just going to see bits and pieces of it.
Okay. Well, it should be an interesting episode. It sounds like there's a lot they can do, a lot they can show us, and it's still up in the air. I love when a vote is up in the air. Again, feels like it's been a really long time since that was the case.
Yes.
Pretty exciting.
Yes, I'm all excited about it, and I'm if it does happen, I'm waiting to see the reactions from people like Austin, Tara, Braden, the people that Kyle, the people that think that everything's all well and good. And by the way, another reason why the vote flip may not happen is because Ty doesn't know how to explain it to Kyle. He doesn't know how to tell him, this is for game, dude. Like, I mean, he doesn't know. Like, obviously, if he flips, he's waited so long at this point. If he flips, it's going to be seen as backstabbing Kyle. Kyle's never going to go along with getting rid of Roe. They haven't planted the seeds throughout the week to make the flip happen. So it's going to be, by Kyle at least, it's going to seem very sudden and out of place for this to happen. Obviously, Kiefer is nervousing on the feeds right now, but the fact that, hey, if we go through with this, Kyle might come out after me. No fucking shit, Sherlock. That's what Big Brother is. I mean, like, if you're not playing the game and you don't have at least one person after you, I don't think are you really playing the game at this point? So I don't understand how he expects this move to go through and then not feel a little bit of heat for it. You have to take a little bit of risk in Big Brother, but that's why you're there to play the game.
Yeah. I think you've got really people on one side or the other of that. We've got some people taking too many risks. Beth, Josh, a lot of these folks. And then you've got people doing nothing. And then you've got the Sunsetters right in the middle there. And we'll see if they can hold
I will hate on the team twist just a little bit more for you and point out that Victoria in the veto competition was able to throw a veto competition, and she did it in such a way that I actually agree with her throwing it. She won that, week 1 challenge for her team, and she doesn't want to seem too much of a threat early on. So she threw it. And ordinarily I would not agree with that, because I feel like you don't, if you have an opportunity to win a veto and then you throw it and then you get evicted, you'll never forgive yourself. But this team twist allows her to remain totally safe. She doesn't need the safety. So why in the hell is she going to win it? I was glad to see that she actually did that.
Yeah, I love Victoria. She had a great moment tonight talking about her upbringing and everything that she's got going on and what her passions are in life. But game-wise, I'm not seeing anything of her.
No, she's terrible. I literally think this is somebody that they recruited. I forget her bio to see how much of a fan she is, but if she's saying she was a fan, she was fucking lying. She ain't no fan. She doesn't know what game she's on. She doesn't know what universe she's in at this point. Victoria, she's literally like telling people to their face, like, I might put up your best friend, or I might do this, or let me tell you all my thoughts and feelings, and not getting anything back from people. She's obviously a big mouth. That's the reason nobody wants her in their alliance, because she just yaps to everybody, and she isn't able to keep anything to herself. So, I mean, she's an interesting presence, and obviously she's a light in the house. Like, she's an absolute gem. I love watching her on the feeds, and she's one of my favorite people. But game-wise, I'd give her the 1 paddle at this point, or close to it. She's really not pulling her weight.
Oh man, Brent, not to call you out, I think you flipped almost all your paddles. I think all of your 1s are now 10s, and all of your 10s are now 1s. What happened?
Right? I mean, like, I got to know these people. That's what happens when you watch the feeds, man. Like, I mean, the Big Brother Canada presented us like a sanitized first impression of all of these people in the house. And then you get to see them play and you get to see them spread their wings. And you see what happens when, you know, like you're HOH and you have to make decisions, or you win the veto and now there's a replacement nominee, or you could be the replacement nominee, or you are the replacement nominee. What happens then? Or if you're in the majority alliance and you have power, what do you do with that power? Do you use it like you should, or do you sit back and panic and wait to the last minute? So, like, you know, obviously my opinions of people change. I will tell people that I'm a very, I've told people this for years podcasting, that I'm a very biased observer. Like, I have my favorites in the house and I have people that obviously I'm rooting for, but I do strategy wise try to keep it above board and, you know, point out, even if people that I like are playing badly, I try to tell you guys about it. And if people that I hate are absolutely playing well, I try to tell you about that too, because that's how podcasting should be done. And I'm obviously glad to disagree with you on occasion too, Zach. It's obviously very fun. I love the podcast that way.
Oh, excellent. I love it. Well, I hope Josh is here for us to disagree about for a long time.
Yes, right?
Me to laugh at, more importantly than anything else. Lots of good questions going into tomorrow's episode. You know, what are they going to show? What are we going to see? What are the Sunsetters going to decide to do with this tricky vote? And how badly is the house going to end up split at the end of this? Are we going to find out if we're adding house guests this weekend? Lots of questions that I think we might start getting answers to, including if the team twist going to change at all? Is it going to stay the same? It's been different the first 2 weeks we've seen it. Lots of stuff coming up. You got anything else?
I think I'm good, but I'm really excited to be here. Thank you guys for all the love. I see you guys on Twitter. I see you on social media. Obviously, the people who viewed the episode last week and downloaded it on iTunes, which, by the way, it is available for at Reality NSFW. I think it says like on iTunes, it's like Reality NSW featuring Johnny Fairplay or something like that. That's where you can find our podcast at. But overall, like really excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me, and I love chatting with you guys in the chat room. And thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, this has been a blast. Keep watching the feeds, enjoying Big Brother Canada, and me and Peter Brown. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.